Hey, so I wanted to do a video quick on how to clean your cymbals, your rubber cymbals for your electronic drum kit. And it seems rather dumb and simple, but I actually had to experiment with this to get it the way I liked it. So, you know, you're gonna get, playing these stuff, you're gonna get dust from the garage, from your room, if you don't have a cover over your drum kit and the cymbals. And then you're also gonna get stick residue, you know, from just regular drumsticks. Not a lot, but over time you're gonna see like a film build up here, and then if you hit the tip on other areas, but primarily it's gonna be right down on the edge. So it just irritates me. I like keeping my stuff clean. I just like the way it looks, especially if I'm doing videos here. I'm not gonna have a bunch of dirty cymbals. So these things are due for a cleaning. I try to do it like maybe once a month, but here's a dirty one. And I'm gonna take that one off and take it into the kitchen, and just so I can just wipe this down. Hopefully you can see the difference here between that one and that one's clean. I just cleaned this one, and all I did was use water and a towel, warm water and a towel. But now you're gonna ask, okay, well, I had to use actually a couple different types of towels, and I'm like, okay, I had a problem here. When I would wipe the thing down after I used the towel, the same towel I used to, you know, just apply a little pressure just to get it clean. And then after that, it's like, okay, you want to grab a dry towel. And so I used the same towel, and then to wipe the excess water on. When I did it, I was bearing down too much to really try to dry it. And by doing that, there's fibers from the towels and the hairs and whatever that stick on here, and it kind of just made it look all like it was growing hair or growing a beard. So I'm like, oh shit. So really what I had to do then, I figured out, like, for me, that like when you're done cleaning it with the wet towel, go get the dry one and just do a real quick once over. Don't bear down on the dry towel, because this rubber material has a tendency to attract lint, dust, hair, and it's not even sticky, but it's just, you know, the rubber material, it just naturally is going to attract dirt and junk. So if you even bear down with a towel, any type of towel with fibers on it, it's going to eventually stick the longer you bear down on it, and the longer you go over it. So you got, that's the trick here with wiping it down so it doesn't look like it's growing a beard. You just got to wipe, you know, the excess moisture off after you're done cleaning it real quick with a dry towel, and then for me it doesn't stick. Also too with this, look, you can do whatever you want. You can go on Amazon, you can go to your Guitar Center or whatever and get those solvents that actually are marketed, and then they put a high price tag on it, and then it can leave your cymbal shiny. But the problem with that, it's kind of like Armor All. Like, you don't want to put like Armor All on this, because then it's like there's residue on it, and it's like sticky, and it's shiny. Yeah, it may look nice, but I don't know why anybody would want oily type of Armor All on their cymbals. That's just, it's gonna even attract more dust, and more shit's gonna stick on it. So to me, I want this whole thing dry after I clean it. So cheapest way to do it, you don't need to buy those solvents. You just need warm water and a rag. One rag to wipe it off that's going to be wet. You hold it under the, just wring it out, and then take the same rag, get another one, and have a completely dry rag, and wipe it down. But the trick is, wipe it down quick, when you're done applying the water, because the longer you bear down on with a dry rag, the more the rag residue is going to stick, the hairs and the fibers. So this is just my way of doing it. You guys can do whatever you want. I'm not an expert here, but I just find out this is the cheapest way that works, and all you need is warm water and 2 rags. So here's some dirty cymbals, by my standard anyway. You can see there's like white film in here, because obviously this is the hi-hat. I'm hitting right here the most, so it's gonna have a little residue over time. So like I say, clean these once a month. So this one's clean. I just did this one. This is what these are gonna look like. And then, over here's a dirty one, and then hopefully you can see I hit the bell a lot. So there's a lot of shit on there. It's just, there's a lot of fibers from just the air that gets stuck in here. And then if you put a rag over it, I have been wiping this down, but again, when you take this over it, these fibers from the rag will stick. the more you bear down with a dry rag on a dry cymbal. You see that white shit there? So I want all that off. That just irks me. And here's like where it's hitting and I'm playing now. This might not bother people. You might think I'm weird for doing this, but you know, it's just how I am. I like shit clean. So I'm gonna take this into the kitchen and show you guys how I do it. So when I took this cymbal off, I actually discovered something else I didn't even know. You see how dirty this thing is around the edges? So I'm gonna clean it, and I just discovered, man, I took this off, this is loose. Right here. Look at that thing. I did not even know that was like that. So I'm like, okay, I gotta fix that. So I gotta tighten that up. So, you know, it's kind of a good thing you take your cymbals off once in a while. I didn't even notice anything with that because, you know, it's like that. I don't look in under and everything's pretty low here. So, yeah. So that I gotta fix, and I didn't even hear anything going wrong. But yeah, that became loose. So that can happen. Check your cymbals out. You know, your wrench, and just, you know, don't over tighten it, but just get in there and, you know, make sure that's just snug, you know. But man, I had this thing in there. I didn't even know it was loose. That thing was flopping all over the place on my other cymbal. So I was hoping it would not ruin the internal mechanisms if I fooled with it. But yeah, I hooked it back up and tested it out. It's fine. So just make sure to check those out, because yeah, you always, you know, even when you're cleaning, you can discover there's problems with your kit and you got to fix it. So here's the cymbal, another one. Here's a dirty one. So I'm going to attempt to clean it. I got a regular bath towel, you know, basically what you want to do is what I've been doing. It works for me. Is it's dirty. As you can see, it's dirty. I'm going to put the camera up on it. You can see it's just like I got a grime stick residue around the rim. I just want to clean it up. So I got lukewarm water over this rag. It's not like sloppy wet or anything. I'm just gonna give it a once over. I'm gonna bear down on it this time around. You know, really get in there and clean the thing. Oops, I hit the GoPro. So anyway, let me go around it. So yeah, just go down over the edges here. Make sure I get that stick residue off, because that's really what I'm going after. And then, you know, over the bell, and then just the regular cymbal. So it should take a lot of it off. Now you notice it's wet. I got just a little bit of film of water. So what I want to do is I want to take a dry rag to it. Now I'm going to go over it real quick. Watch how quick I do it. Once around the bell, and then just to get the excess water off. Now, see, there's a little hair. See, if I was to keep going over that with the dry rag, and which mistake I did earlier, and when I used to clean these, and I'm like, damn it, these fuzzies, I keep getting the fuzzies from the rag, because this, like I said, this stuff attracts hair, dust, lint, whatever. So, you know, with the wet rag, you can bear down on it, but once you're done, if you want to avoid getting the hair and junk right back on the cymbal, just go over it quick with a dry rag. Because if I would have kept bearing down on that and really making sure, hey, it's really dry, all the hair, it's going to look like it has a beard. All the hair from the towel, the residue is going to stick back on here, and it's like, yeah, that's not what I want. So that's it. And you can see it just cleaned it up nicely. Got all the junk off of it, and you know, I don't have to spend any money for a solvent. Just water and 2 rags. To just bring this out here in the sunlight, you guys can see what I'm doing. So I didn't really spend a lot of time on it. You saw it was like less than 20 seconds or so. I just wiped it down, got the junk off the edges, and you know, there's no residue on it. But if I would have continued with that white rag, the dry rag, and just wiped it off, there would have been, see those, I don't know if you can see the hairs on it. There's like a couple, but this thing would have been caked. So you could let it air dry. You don't even have to take it to that step. But the problem is, when you let it air dry, you might get streaks all over the cymbal, and it's just going to look like shit. You don't want it. You might get watermarks. So that's why I go over it real quick with a dry towel. So that middle section there between those 2 nuts, let me put it down here in the right in here. So that's where you want that to be to prevent your cymbal from spinning around freely. So it's going to just lock in there. So that you want it over that divot. So you might have to basically adjust this, swing this around. As you can see, and under this one here, it's let me put that down a minute. It's under, see how it's here, and it's the cymbal isn't gonna swing around. That way this cord won't get, you know, like tangled up in this big mess. I have it over here too. See how it's under here, my camera under there. This is not going anywhere because that divot is in between those two stoppers.